Thank you, viewers. I appreciate you for subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I want to urge you and plead with you to continue to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please also click on the notification button so that you know the activities happening on that YouTube channel. We are going to be talking about quite a lot of things today. I watched a video earlier in the day where a very young chap in the United States was asked questions about how his classmates interact with him, and he said they don't usually interact with him because of the color of his skin. That's quite pathetic. I got so emotional listening to that very young boy. He felt bad about it. He loves them, but they don't want to relate with him because he's a black guy. A lot of our people experience this, and it is something that is quite unfortunate. You watch the Euro 2020, and you saw what the black guys, the black players, went through in the hands of racists. It was quite pathetic. One time or the other, we've gone through some of these very pathetic stories. I was in London a couple of years ago, and while at the reception, a very small boy was asking the mom to get him banana, that he wants to give me banana. Let's give him banana. Because they thought all blacks are monkeys. This is pathetic. We are all human beings. We are not inferior because of the color of our skins. And it is quite unfortunate that some people around the world still think that the color of your skin should be what should be able to judge you. That's quite unfortunate. And we need to come home and look inwards to see how we can improve on the condition of living in Nigeria. Many of our people who are in UK, United States, and other European and American countries, they are not better off. They are there because they just felt they will have access to some basic things that are not available here in Nigeria. So we need to look inwards and fix our nation. We need to look at our nation and see what we can do to ensure that we are able to stay here and be proud of our nation. That is what is necessary. When you look at what the United States is doing, the United States is just like someone who is feeding the lion in the home of someone who has nothing to feed the lion with but is keeping the lion. He's doing that not because he likes the man who is keeping the lion, but he believes that a hungry lion would devastate the entire vicinity. What the United States is doing is to try as much as possible to keep terrorists at bay, going by what happened on September 11 some years ago, when some of their most cherished, iconic centers were touched. We need to get ourselves out of the hands, out of the grip, out of the influence of these superpowers and develop our nation. I was having a conversation with someone about the standard of education in Nigeria. Our public schools are nothing to write home about. Some of us are products of public schools. And, I've told people, I never attended any private school in my life. But those public schools were quite good in those days. Now, the only school that is good are private schools. So that is why you see that the owners of private schools are making it very, very difficult for the poor to put their children in some of these private schools. There are families that are struggling to cope on 30,000 a month salary, and you are talking about having their children in school. One of them will pay 500,000 to be enrolled in a private school. For instance, in Abuja, in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, where are they going to get 500,000? So they are condemned to the public schools. So what we need to do as a nation is to ensure that our public schools are attractive, are competitive. When you do that, even private schools too, we see the reason to bring down the cost of attending those schools, because you know many people would prefer a public school where their children will have a lot of security, a lot of competition, a lot of facilities. We should be able to put this in place, and that is what most states in the country are trying to do. I've seen examples in Borno State, in Kogi State, in Kwara State, where they are trying to build model schools that would be able to attract the best in the society. This is very key. Unless we can address this very key issue, we'll continue to have this very terrible challenge in our educational sector. When you look at the medical profession too, we are facing a lot of challenges. We have doctors that have been on strike. Many people are dying in public hospitals. Many of our doctors are already moving out of the country to Saudi Arabia, to Europe, and other Western countries because the condition here is not right. And I was in a very serious argument with someone yesterday. The person is telling me that even those that can afford medical education in Nigeria today are children of the rich, and they don't even have passion for the job. I disagreed with him because I know children of the poor that their parents did everything they could to ensure that they attended medical schools, and they are very good doctors in our public institutions. So by and large, what the man was suggesting is that let federal government make medical studies free. Let's subsidize it greatly, in such a way that to become a medical doctor you don't have to pay too heavily. So what that means is that there will be an undertaking between the doctor and the government that you have to serve. You have to be in Nigeria and serve for 10, 12, 13 years before you can consider either going into private practice or going abroad. And if for any reason you have to do that, then you have to pay certain percentages of what was spent by the government to train you as a medical doctor. So we need to find a balance around all of these things. When we do that, we'll be able to build patriotic medical practitioners who will think about the country and not what will just go into their pockets. And when you look at some of their demands, they are demands that are beneficial to the general public, not just about their own welfare too. You go to public health institutions, they don't even have nets on their windows. You go there with malaria and come out with typhoid fever, and a lot of problems that are going on there. There are not enough facilities, and many of these medical practitioners are taking advantage of the precarious situation to put all of this in their own private hospitals. So it's quite pathetic and very disheartening. So we need to address these issues. We need to build a nation that would keep her citizens. We need to build a nation whose citizens will be patriotic. We need to build a nation that will be able to serve the people. We need to build a nation that the people of the nation will not think their best bet is to get out of the country. We need to build a nation where the people will stay, develop the nation, be proud of the nation, make the nation competitive in the Committee of Nations. That is what we need to do in Nigeria.